can't eat at all. So it's a little bit different for everybody. For some people, when they're under a lot of stress, they can't sleep enough. They just want to sleep, sleep, sleep. For other people, when they're under a lot of stress, they can't sleep. So it's different for everybody. Racing heart can happen. Confusion. Sometimes when we're under a lot of stress, we get a little bit more forgetful, a little bit more confused. We start to have headaches. We start to have backaches. I know for me, my jaw starts to hurt when I'm under a lot of stress. We have trouble concentrating. We might not be as concerned about other things. We might not have as much energy as we used to. And the last four, I think, are the most important when it comes to parenting: the irritability, the intolerance, the short-temperedness, and the outburst of anger. Because when we're under a great deal of stress, these things tend to affect our children. If we have a really bad day at work and we come home and our child does something that if we had had a good day at work, we might have been able to tolerate, but because we had a bad day at work, we're a little bit less tolerant. So sometimes we say and we do things that we later regret. A little bit more short-tempered, and we maybe are a little bit more quicker to get angry than we would be if we weren't under a lot of different stress. So sometimes when we're under a great deal of stress, and we have a little activity that we want to do with you with labels, when we're under a great deal of stress and we're feeling a little bit less tolerant, a little bit more irritable, we sometimes say things to our children or those that we love and care about that we later regret, that we wish we hadn't said. And sometimes we don't even mean to say those types of things. And some of the things that we're saying, we might not even think of as being a discouraging type of label. So we are going to ask a volunteer to come up here. You don't have to say anything. You just have to. Do you have a label, Brenda? Yeah. You just have to stand here. So how would it feel, Cindy, to hear all of those things? Horrible. Definitely. If anybody just went to the bucket fillers, that's definitely not filling the bucket. That's definitely not helping build a child's self-esteem. So even though we may have had good intentions when we said some of those things, the internal. Yeah. Thank you, Cindy. The message that the child heard is what becomes reality. And perception is what's reality. It's not necessarily what other people are saying to you, but it's what you're hearing that becomes your own reality. And it becomes a part of who you are. And it becomes a part of what you believe about yourself. So if we want to raise children that have good, healthy self-esteem, we need to be not only very careful of the words that we're saying, but also the voice tone. You know, if you walk up to your daughter and say, "I love you," probably not going to believe you. We have to be aware of our voice tone, of our body language. If you're cooking dinner and your daughter's saying, "Mom, I want to tell you about what happened at school," and you're like, yeah, I'm listening. Your child doesn't believe that you're listening. So we have to be aware of our voice tone, our body language, getting down to their level for those of you that have the little ones, and just really being a good listener. Yes?
My son's father.
Our children. And then the other is what the child might hear. So Ron's going to read what the labels say. And your name, ma'am? Cindy. And he's going to stick these labels on Cindy. And then we're going to ask Cindy to walk around, and we're going to have you read what the labels say. So when you read what the labels say, you're going to be reading what Cindy heard, not necessarily what Ron said. So you can say them out loud, Ron. So
you want the small?
The small print, yeah.
What's your problem?
Anybody ever said that to your kid? What's your problem? What is your problem?
I'm not spending that much money on you.
I am not spending that much money on you. Is that it? Sure, some of you have.
I don't have time for this right now.
You know what? I just don't have time for this right now. We don't.
Don't worry. I'll take care of it for you.
Don't worry, honey. I'll take care of it for you. You can stick them all over around her arms, her legs, her back.
Yeah, I gotta be a little cautious. Any other want to take You're in an ugly mood today.
Well, you're in an ugly mood today.
That's not very nice.
That's not very nice. Sure, we've all said that at one time or another.
I'm so disappointed in you for not trying. Why don't you ever listen?
Why don't you ever listen? You never listen to me.
I wish you were never born.
It's just some of these don't sound so bad when we say them, and some of them sound really bad.
Honestly, when are you going to grow up?
When are you going to grow up? Honestly, when are you going to grow up?
You'd be so pretty if you'd only lose or gain a few pounds. Are you sure you want to take that route?